start out, if you're just like, hey, we just want to be better with dating, we just want better social skills, right? And then before you know it, you're talking about like women are dogs and you need to train them.
What's up, my beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of the See It Through My Eyes channel. I'm your host, Richie, here with Finland.
Why about that?
Okay. And Jesus.
I
Today, we're going to be reacting to a TikTok that Jesus found on TikTok. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button if you want to help us as we continue to try to grow and continue on sharing on our message to help people.
and not be dysfunctional completely.
Also, make sure to like and share with anybody that will be interested. Also, check out our channel. I think you guys will find a lot of our videos interesting, or at least, have it in the background. But yeah, show us some love. With that being said, let's get right into the video.
I would say at 17, I was socially awkward, very introverted. I felt I was ugly in high school. So I went on YouTube and looked up tips regarding dating and women. It eventually led me down this deep, dark hole. It was able to kind of take the weight of blame off of myself. Like, actually, women are the ones in control. You're actually the victim in this situation. It's a very appealing thing to be the victim. If you just learn what we have to give you, you'll be the one winning here soon. Before you know it, you're commenting, you're reading more of it, but at the same time, you're distrustful of the women around you. You're distrustful of people around you because you think they don't know what you know.
I like I know in the at some point in the video he says like it's nice to be the victim, right? In relation to like uh how he felt and how the red pill movement was like affecting him and stuff like that.
Mm.
And it's true, like they I feel like the movement would be much better off if they stopped focusing on like what women are doing to them, quote unquote, and start like truly focusing on themselves and like community. Um, I also have another thing where it's like about isolation, right? And they talk about how, oh, you gotta quote unquote lock in, right? You gotta stay by yourself to get motivated. You gotta go on like a self discovery journey, you know? And I think that that's a lot of the mentality of like cults because they want to separate like you from like other communities that could actually help you or just other people in general. And I don't know how you guys feel about all that.
Okay, so it's sad that this is where we are at in society. But the beautiful part, we can always change, and it's always going to come to the individual whether or not they want to make that decision. I think, like what you were pointing out about the isolation, like he was mentioning,
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the most dangerous parts you can find yourself in
Mm-hmm.
because you are very vulnerable. And if you start being introduced to, these people and these communities, and you start listening to a lot of the talk, you start thinking that you're finding the answers to a lot of the questions and a lot of the doubts that you've been feeling. I've always had a problem with this particular community, the red pill manosphere community, because to me it's not male empowerment. I'm all for empowering men. I've called out the bullshit with the toxic feminism that we see in modern days, but I don't think exterminating feminism or just feminism alone is a bad thing. I think there's radicalization on both ends, and unfortunately, that's what is getting the most attention, especially on social media, because I feel people in ordinary life, they're working together, they're going to school together, and you don't really see as much. Maybe you see some hidden misogynism or hate on both ends, right? But mostly you see that online. Now, obviously, these are real people. These are people who are in the shadows, right? They have to, like was he was saying, you have to hide, and that's never good if you have to hide your opinions. And I know that a lot of the people with this type of mindset, one of the things that their defense is, oh well, they're attacking, my freedom of speech. They're attacking, this and this and that. Now, to be devil's advocate, I think a lot of these toxic feminism have helped cause a lot of men that feel vulnerable, who feel lost, who feel insecure for whatever reason in their lives to turn to a lot of these movements. But at the end of the day, as men, we have the responsibility, whether or not to say, this is what I believe, this is how I'm going to approach. I want to share real quick when a couple years ago,
Mm.
how I was introduced to the red pill community. Now, not directly, right? But I was introduced to the concept of it a couple years ago after a breakup that happened. And similar to what the guy was saying, I started looking up like tips about relationships because growing up, I wasn't the type, like other like the popular boys in middle school, like that were constantly dating like different girls. That wasn't me. I had like one girlfriend throughout like the majority of my middle school time. Then when I got to high school, I started dating a little bit more, but it wasn't like I was one of these popular kids that I would look up to. And I would see them, going around dating like the, popular girls and all that society tells us are the high quality women that we should be, like striving for. Um, so I grew up with the belief that I was both ugly and that I wasn't good enough to get those type of quality women. That those were the quality of women that I needed to go after, right? And like I said, I've started going around, dating girls, dating girls, dating girls, different personalities, different looks, different everything. When I got to looking for advice from other men, that I was like, I should listen to somebody that might have better knowledge, better experience, better luck when it comes to dating, from those type of guys than obviously somebody that doesn't have that type of luck, right? You're going to go to a successful businessman to ask about advice, running your own business over somebody that, has failed running their own business. Or maybe, you might want to learn what not to do. But that was kind of the mindset that I had. And most of the guys online that I would, see, influencers giving advice, it was pretty positive. I started coming across a couple channels that at the moment I didn't see the red flags until a little bit later on when I actually came back to those channels just because I was like, oh, I like these influencers. But at the time that I did, I remember I think it was around 2020 when I started checking out some of the channels because you grow familiar with these influencers. Um, so even though at the time I wasn't struggling dating anymore, I was like, oh, I haven't checked out this person's channel, so let me check them out. And most of them, some things have changed, but most of them were still the same. Then I came across the ones that I started realizing, oh shit, these guys have weird mindsets and belief systems that I didn't really pay attention to the first time around. And then something that I wouldn't really do before, I started reading the comment section, and oh boy, it was a cesspool of hate. What, just women bashing, just victimization, and this radicalization of oh, men were being attacked and this and this and that. And I tried, because at the time I was seeing the change in feminism, so I was like, I could kind of empathize, right? But then I was like, but I've had both good and bad luck with women of all kind. I've had good luck with women who maybe to some people they're like, they're a four, they're average looking. And I've had luck with women that, some guys will be, oh, they're tens, but also in the reverse. And I guess that to me has helped me throughout my entire life to always remind myself like every relationship is going to be different, every interaction, every woman is going to be different. So to think that oh something's wrong with me, because at the end of the day, a lot of these guys who are falling trap to these movements, that's the number one thing. You start with self-hatred and then you find someone to blame for how you feel, and you just go hard and you spew out this hate. And the weird part, because I get, most incels and a lot of these guys who want to remain single, okay, fine, hate till your heart blows up, fine. But there's also guys who are hating women, but at the same time want to get with women. And it's guys who I feel have the mindset, and it is misogynism. I don't care what you call it. When you start objectifying women as a possession, I think that's where we're also That's why a lot of these guys want to go back to the old days where women didn't have much of a say. But they try to mask it as we want to go back to the traditional days, women stay home and the man goes to work and this and this and that. I, as someone, like I said, who has been around the block, I can tell you how a relationship works and how it doesn't work. If you're trying to make it work, then you need to have equal responsibilities and communication to make it functional. You can't control how another person's gonna perceive you, how another person's gonna feel towards you. Well, unless you're being, a piece of shit. But like I said, every interaction, every female is going to be different. So your interactions are going to be different. And one thing that I've always told Ian, if you're starting to see a pattern and the only common denominator is you, then the problem is you. But instead of self-reflecting and saying, hey, maybe just my approach, or well, I don't know, it kind of seems like that is where they go, but then they go the opposite direction. Instead of saying maybe I need to change my approach and how maybe I'm coming off needy, or maybe I'm attaching myself to women and I'm putting these women on pedestals, or I have the wrong idea of women, or whatever it is. Instead, we go to the opposite direction of, oh well, all women are gold diggers, all women, and it's pretty as the three of us, right? We have mothers. I believe the majority of people have mothers. We have sisters. We have female friends, cousins, daughters, wives, girlfriends, baby mamas, whatever you want to call them. Like we have females that are very important in our lives. I'm blessed that I was raised by my mom and my dad, but my mom a lot of the time was my mother and my father, and I don't feel less of a man because of that. I also have two older sisters. I have my female cousin Erica, who are some of my bestest friends. Okay, well, at least Kika is one of my closest friends. And I've also had a lot of good female friends who I've seen as sisters. So to me, when all this, oh well, women are lazy, I think there are some traits, right, that we can all agree that certain genders have and some don't, right? And vice versa. But at the end of the day, everyone is going to be different. So to villainize women that they're all like this and all like that, for anybody who's struggling out there, if let's say you got your heart broken, or you always been rejected, or you just struggle with your self-esteem, or you're dealing with some sort of trauma because of a female in your past, it's not your fault. And it's not your fault that, things aren't working out, but work on yourself. And no, not just the physical and the financial part that a lot of these guys push. That is very important. And we have stated many times on this channel, it is very important to have. But first and foremost, man, how about we start loving ourselves and we start working on ourselves for ourselves? Not the end goal is to get a woman. Let that come. If you're spiritual, let God put someone that is actually going to accept and love you for who you are. But if you're going to go and listen to these guys who, like what the guy was saying, a lot of these guys don't even believe half of the shit that they're spewing out. But because they're seeing that these algorithms are pushing these videos and it's getting numbers, they're profiting off of your own misery.
A lot of them become grifters, and they just do it for attention sometimes.
And a lot of the time, Jesus, a lot of these guys who are pushing these movements, it's because they finally feel some sort of power. They feel worshipped by a lot of these guys. That's why they get the chance to tell them, you're not good enough. Well, if you weren't a cuck, if you weren't this, if you were that, you're ugly, you're fat, you're out of shape, you're this and that. Tell me, if you want to do better in your life, how is someone coming and telling you all the bad things that you already feel shitty about, telling you that that's what's wrong with you? How is that going to motivate anybody? But instead, they tell you, they try to break you even more than you already are, to make you feel desperate and dependent on them, because they also feed you that red pill, right? They feed you, if you want though to change, they give you that hope. This is the way to change. And it's all this bullshit. And because a lot of guys are in a desperate part in their lives, they don't question it. And if they do, they got already that voice both in and out of their head telling them, don't listen it. You're being excuse my language, you're being a bitch. Don't do that. And before I let you go, Ian, one thing that I've always found very interesting and ironic about a lot of these guys with these toxic masculinity, and that's what the fuck it is. Don't come and argue that there's no such thing as toxic masculinity. It is. But let me finish my first thought, I guess. But when guys say that the female gender are so sensitive and that they victimize a lot of the women right now with the female empowerment movement and all that they all pretend like they're victims and all that. So then what are these people doing? They're victimizing themselves, and they have such thin skin that they can't take rejection without having to be explosive. Masculinity doesn't mean that you beat your chest and shout at the top of your lungs in the face of a woman. That just makes you a weak little bitch. If you can't control your emotions and you can't take a rejection, you got a problem. It's not the female problems. And I've said this multiple times. If a person doesn't accept you for who you are, however it might be, then you don't need them. But this idea that people need to accept us for who we are, no, they don't. Guess what? That's how the world works. Ian has gotten rejected. Jesus has gotten rejected. I've gotten rejected. We have all gone through our heartbreaks. But that doesn't mean that women are the problem. And that doesn't, for all the toxic females, that's where I was going to go. It doesn't mean that men are the problem either. For those who are trying to make the men also the villains, we got good people on both sides, people. And on the way that I see it, we got positive feminism, toxic feminism, and women that are somewhere in the middle. And the same thing with masculinity. Toxic masculinity, healthy masculinity, and somewhere in the middle. And I'm hoping that this message gets to the ones in the middle, because those concern me the most. Those are the ones who are lost. Those are the ones, and at all through our lives, I can speak just knowing the three of us, we have also struggled with our self-esteem as men. Because we have also been told by society, not just men, all right, I'm holding women accountable too, a lot of toxic women who have told us we're not men enough because we're not aggressive, we're not this, we're not that. They're no better than the toxic men who are trying to push this agenda, because division is profitable, unfortunately, and nowadays. What Ian always says, rage baiting, it's profitable. So guys, if you hear somebody, the minute that you hear somebody say it's all women or all men or all one group, it's okay to take their freedom of speech, because you have the freedom to protect your peace of mind. If you want to feel better, look for that help. As we have our own way as men, we have our own ways to nurture whatever wounds we have. It might not be exactly how women do it, right? If that's it, oh well, we're not the type to cry or that. At the end of the day, you're responsible for however you want to heal whatever's going on within you, and you do deserve happiness. But this hate is not going to lead to happiness. I know it's obvious, but a lot of these guys apparently don't see it. Hate is not going to lead to happiness. Hate is not going to lead to love. You're going to keep pushing these women away, and you're going to catch a case. I'm just telling a lot of these dudes that are pushing more and more the aggressiveness and violence and suppressing women is the way to go about it. I hope you do behind bars, because think how your mother, your daughter, your sister, any female that's important in your life, if that was to happen to you, how you would feel. Me, I would. So I don't know about you guys, but that's just the way that I would feel. And as somebody who I've been very open about my past with my abusiveness in relationships, but I also suffered through abuse in relationships. Wrong is wrong, and we need to call it out. And I want more and more guys to also come out of the shadows. Don't feel shame. All these little thin-skinned mother calling us for standing up for what we believe in. Stand up as men. Stand up, because real men stand up for what they believe in, even when the whole world is against them. Real men don't follow what the herd is doing. We lead by examples, and we follow our own lead. That's what a real man does. Not all this bullshit that the Andrew Taints, that all these mother are trying to push. To all the ones who, like I said, the ones in the middle who are looking for a place in their lives, or are looking for changes in their lives, avoid these people and avoid these women out here who are pushing this man-hating bullshit, who are pushing this promiscuous lifestyle, who are pushing this I'm gonna profit off of men, but then call it feminism, who are pushing gold digging and all that. So that's just my little PCA. Ian?
So my rule of thumb has always been, you know, there's a difference between consumption and meditation. Because in social media, especially today, that is the key. Where it's so much content out here, everybody wants to be an influencer. Everybody thinks they have a degree in giving advice. Everybody think, yeah. And so there's so much stuff out here. And like you said, there's those people in the middle, both men and women. But in the context of this conversation, there's men who are in the middle, regardless of age, young, just like young at heart or whatnot. And they're trying to figure out what path to being a man is and stuff like that. My rule of thumb, like I said, is consumption is like or meditation. Because consumption is you can see this content and you about to say if you do have that resolve about your definition of what it means to be a man and you have like that resolve, like what they say, maybe there's some stuff in there that align with what you're saying, but then there's other stuff that's just completely off the wall landish. You toss that stuff out, but then then the risk is then there's meditation, or unfortunately there's some people who literally go to sleep listening to this thing, and then they wake up listening to this thing, and they go to their job listening to this thing, and then they meditate on this stuff thinking that it's just it's just good to listen to this and that. But then those messages do start creeping into your head. It starts creeping into your beliefs, and then what you start spewing out starts to sound an awful lot like that stuff. And then before long, you don't even recognize that you got taken in. I'm with Ricky 100% because, in all full transparency, dude, despite, and I get it, just like men and women are never always going to see eye to eye. Like for you, I know you, your sisters, and your mom, even with Kika or any other female, don't always see eye to eye all the time. That's valid. That's human nature. But not once, not one time have I ever caught you in a position where you would just be okay with someone ultimately disrespecting your mom or your sisters or Kika or any female that's like significant to you. The problem with a lot of this, red pill stuff, it is coming from a breed of men that rather than deal with, yes, that rejection happened, and yes, the results that you wanted did not happen, rather than deal with that, it's much easier to spew out just deflection. Because a lot of them that do that put that content out there, when I would see it, the only thing I'm hearing, despite all of this, you got to be, this, I'm going to the gym for myself. It's like, despite all of that huffing and puffing, you're still showing me that whoever hurt you, whoever, whether it was a female, a group of females, maybe it's something a little bit more deeper. Maybe it's something with mom. I don't know. I'm just hearing that scream at me more, because then you're going out here trying to prove that I don't need their, I don't, women are just this, there's some service. It's like we men and women need each other. I just got to put Bible where it is, where it's like, it was from Adam that Eve came, and she was a helper. And so that does not, and so in the toxic masculinity, what they'll like to look at that and they'll just be like, see, she's supposed to help. That means just help in the kitchen or help in the cleaning or help in the children, but not actually that. It's like, no, there's more room for help than just that. And unfortunately, a lot of this information out here is just very construed. I'm concerned. I am concerned because it's a lot of men and women, while they're talking about like, oh, the birth rates are going down, a lot of people aren't getting married, people are afraid to approach and stuff like that. This bad message that's coming from men and women on the toxicity level is responsible for driving this wedge. And it's only getting wider, to be honest. And so I am proud of those that try to bridge the gap. I'm proud of men who's holding men accountable, where it's like it can't just be all of them. I've said this before when people use those generalization blankets and they say, oh, it's all of them, it's all black women, it's all Latino women, it's all women in general. I say my rule of thumb is until you have dated at least 1% of the entire populace and across the board, every single experience is the same, then you can tell me that all of them are the same. And before someone jump in here and be like, oh, well, 1%, I guess that must mean one woman. No, it's a whole bigger number than that. And I mean it. You got to date at least 1% of the entire female populace. And across the whole board, the experience has to boil out down to the exact same result. And if it doesn't do that, guess what? It's not all women. It's not all of them. It's not all women. It's not all men. We've got to get back to the basics of just we need to assess and judge people accordingly. We're getting lazy with our assessment because we don't want to take time to be like, maybe this is just this person, or better yet, maybe it's something with me. It's much easier to throw a generalization tarp over a whole demographic and be like, they're the problem. But it takes someone who actually understands maybe it's not all of them. Maybe there's just a few rotten apples that maybe I should have probably been paying attention to. Maybe there were signals, maybe there were signs. There's reflection that needs to happen on both sides of the track. And more content, I am happy. There are people flipping. There's people who are understanding that these movements and stuff, it makes good content if you're just angry and you just want to bask in anger. But then when it comes to really getting results, there's people who are flipping like, this ain't helping me. This isn't making me more of a man. It's not making women more womanly. This is just making more divide. And the worst part is these people creating this content, they're just sitting back in their chair with their hands crossed like, I got the money. So the last thing I'll say, just y'all need to use we need to use discernment. When you know something does not sound right and it does not resonate right with who you are and what your beliefs are, there is no shame and just keep on scrolling. I'm gonna move to something else or just disconnect altogether. You don't have to go with it. You don't have to be with them. Even if everyone else is saying, yeah, but Andrew Tate said this, and all these, alphas say that, where it's like, what do you say? This generation is a generation that's standing on its own laurels. They're not about to just only be zombies to other people's thoughts. You got to walk on your own 2 feet and make your own decisions. If you do that, I promise you're going to be the best man. You're going to be the best woman for the females listening. You're going to be the best you. And that is the best person to be, not what everyone else is being.
To all the guys, like I said, all the guys who feel lost, young guys, millennials, older guys, whatever it is, get help, but not this type of help.
No.
Get actual help, spiritual help. If you can find a support system, but this isn't going to lead anywhere good. And stop giving these people your money. Stop giving these people your peace of mind, your attention, your time. For any content creator who's pushing this agenda, if you really do care about making a difference for us, men, evaluate what you're pushing, what exactly is it doing?
What's the end game?
Do you believe it? And if you do believe it, can you look yourself in the mirror and question, is this right? And why do I feel how I feel about this? Because you're misleading a lot of the younger guys. You're misleading a lot of guys who are looking to you as a leader.
And just to cut in a little bit here, you're going to be responsible for that. You took a position of being a leader over people's thoughts and all of that. And so when things crash and burn, that will be on your account. That's going to be on your head. That's going to be blood on your hands because you told them this, and that, and they believed it. And you can be like, well, they didn't have to. No, but you was in their face just copping the whole time saying that they should. And you knew that they were broken in the first place.
So, from a former hoe, if I can give you some advice to anyone listening, you're going to find all different types of women, just like we find all different types of dudes. And there are going to be women who are going to be attracted to you because of your looks. There are going to be women who are only looking for that. There are going to be women who are only looking for money. There are going to be women who will be okay being in an abusive relationship. All that, if that's what you're finding, you need to get the fuck out. You need to look for better quality women. It's not just about how they look. Again, that is important. It's not just about, well, whatever else they might say that it's a high quality woman. It's about how they treat you. It's about how you feel around them. It's about how you guys build a relationship. And that's really what you're looking for. There's plenty of adult services out there if you're just looking for,
A good time.
yeah, look for that. If you, I've said this to both of you guys before. I say this to you guys listening. If you guys are listening and hearing constantly these toxic feminism talking about how men are the problem and the patriarchy and all that, guess what? The beautiful part, you don't have to worry about that because that's not the woman that you are going for. You're going for a high quality woman. You just ignore that, don't pay them attention, and you go continuing on your search. We need to stop trying to fix and change all these people.
And we need to stop competing with each other because their standard of high quality is not yours. Your standard of high quality is just as high quality. Understand?
And I'm gonna also tell you guys, when you get rejected, it's gonna feel shitty, and that's okay. But guess what? If you respond with your head held high and just be like, cool, guess what? The next woman, if she sees that,
that's going to be attractive.
that's what women are attracted to, is confidence. And no, confidence is not bragging, it's not yelling, it's not, because I'm gonna tell you, like what you were saying earlier about how I love all the women in my life. That doesn't mean that I've always gotten along. And guess what? I've stood my ground. That doesn't mean that I have to be aggressive with them or put hands on them. It doesn't mean that this or that. I've stood my ground and they respect me for it. Not all the time, but most of the time they respect me for it. But I've also been in relationships where I didn't respect my partners. I'm not with those relationships. I was the problem because I had that type of mindset that that's the problem. Because I was fed that bullshit since young. Maybe not through social media, but a lot of the male influencers and role models around me, role models, I mean, that influenced me growing up, whether it was in school, whether hell, we talked about it, even music, media, all that, family members and all that. You gotta question the foundation of your belief system first, guys.
That's what growing up means. You don't just go with the stuff that you were spoon fed to believe and stuff like that. As you get older, you are supposed to question the stuff that you believe because you're gonna find maybe some of that stuff that was rooted as a belief, it doesn't even have any roots in the first place. It's not rooted in anything. It just sounds good.
So lastly, I want to wrap up with going around the triangle here. And I want you guys to come up with at least three different positive male social media influencers that you guys have checked out that you would recommend to anybody who's looking for maybe some advice about how to be a more high quality man, how to be a more confident man, how to improve your dating life. If you guys got any of that,
Uh, crap. Oh, um, there's this couple, and they have a podcast called To Be Better, and they're a little bit on the older side,
mm,
but they are people who've worked through their shit together, and they've had some really good takes, and I'll link them down in the comment section because I think you guys should check them out. As far as two more go, I think I'll just put those in the description too, because right now I can't really think of two more.
Ian, you got anybody in mind?
Well, definitely the one that I would say is I'm about to say he goes by the name of Penguins with a Z zero. Yeah, uh-huh. He is hilarious. Now, even though his stuff isn't necessarily like, uplifting men, what he's doing, he's putting on blast a lot of some of just this content out here that people are doing just for the sake of attention. Sometimes it's just people doing stupid pranks just to get like, because clout is the new currency and all that. But more than that, he's also calling out just these videos of people who are saying like, you need to buy this course and all this and that to be an alpha male, or even those who's trying to be alpha females. He goes on these videos, he follows these links to these websites, and he shows people the receipts of these absolute absurd prices for these courses and classes that's supposed to, quotes, help you be a better man or make you more attractive if you're like, a woman or a man, whatever. And just he's exposing these get rich quick schemes, to be honest, guys, because scamming is a new career out here because it doesn't take much. All it takes is a platform, a lot of emotion, and unfortunately, broken people who have distorted views about men, women, or whatever. And so I appreciate him. He calls out the nonsense on like the guys end, on the females end, and he also does it his way too, where he's not trying to be like this person that's like better than that. Like he looks like a legit gamer. Well, actually, I think he is like a legit gamer and stuff like that. He even turned off his donations because people were like really sending him in. He's like, I'm not doing this to get donations. I'm doing this to kind of help you guys out. So I say check him out. He's very hilarious. I say go for it.
What about the CJ guy? Remember him?
Oh, see, I'm about to say, yeah.
Do you remember what?
I don't remember
Or
his.
is he just on Facebook?
No, he.
If you don't remember, I'll put it in the description.
Okay, but yeah, he's I'm about to say he's another one too. Just kind of getting again the full perspective of just men and women dynamics. Because these days there's just a lot of yelling back and forth about men don't do this, men don't do that. Well, women don't do this, women don't do that. He's trying to call out here, and Emily Winkins, Emily Winkins,
On TikTok.
yes, and
Okay.
if it's another one, Lauren the Advocate.
Is that the one that you showed me?
Hmm?
Is that the one that you showed me last? The black girl?
No.
No?
No. No. These are they're trying to bridge the gap between, again, like the men and women thing. Jesus, you can explain it to him, right?
Yeah. So basically, they try to have videos where their goal is to make sure that the gap between the genders is cleared up and that everyone is on a better understanding
And
of
on
each other.
top of that, also calling out sometimes, how, like I say, rage bait. Sometimes people put content out there just to piss you off. That way you can go in those comments and you can fire away and you think you're doing justice when in truth you're actually giving them the attention that they want. They're doing that too, where there's people putting this stuff out there about men, this, and women, this, and that, and they're just setting it straight. Where it's like, yeah, maybe it's not that. They're not as bad. They're not evil. They're not villains.
Yeah. Another advice: go talk to more girls, and without the expectation of I'm gonna get with her. Start get women. Okay, not girls. Women.
Couldn't hurt.
Go talk to women. Get to know more, just on a human basis first, and start getting just
Get familiar.
yeah, improve the way that you talk to women, interact with women, and watch your confidence will change, and just your ability to speak with women and connect with women will change. Now, I got 6 channels in mind. One is Man Talks. Check out that channel. We have I think we actually reacted to one of his videos before. Connor, real cool guy, and he's married, successful man and everything. I think he does a lot of good work. Another channel we've done reaction videos to is Charisma on
Yeah.
Command. I think he does a lot of good too. Alpha M, me and my brother Omar, we have followed him for years, and he's a real cool guy. And he does a lot of self growth work also. Psych to Go, another channel that I'm subscribed to, and I've been subscribed for a couple years. It's men and women giving like just maybe not about gender specifically, but about your mental health. Kenny Bender, which we will be reacting to one of his videos in
Yeah,
a
he's a good
couple
one.
weeks. Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
And lastly, Courtney Ryan, that we reacted to a while back. I love her. I love her content. giving advice to men from a female's perspective. She's married. I can't tell you happily married or not for any of these people, but I'm just going up by what
Dude,
they tell.
I think we forgot what's her face.
Who?
The blonde.
Kim Foster?
The Kim Foster.
I mean, she doesn't technically do videos for those type of debates, but she's also married and successful. So yeah.
Hey, we're talking about the one that tells people to politely fuck off.
Kate
Kate.
and
Kate and Michelle.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, we reacted to her channel too, Kate and Michelle. She also real good. I know she tends to get a lot of trolls, but yeah, go support her too. Go check out these channels, guys, because they give. And if you haven't, by the way, subscribe to our channel. But
and note that this is a list of mixture between men and women
and different perspectives, different experiences. But one thing that we want to do with our channel, I know we kind of got a little preachy, at least I did, and I got a little heated, but it's because I'm very passionate about this guy.
You're steaming.
And I'm tired of seeing the divide. I'm tired of seeing a lot of men that are being attacked from both ends and being misled. And nothing is really being done to help out a lot of guys. We have the highest suicide rate, and I want to be able to bring that down however we can do it. So if this touches you guys, protect your heart, protect your mind. As cheesy as it sounds, you need to. Do not give your time, your peace of mind, your money to any of these people that are profiting off of hate, of pinning one gender versus the other, of pushing whatever political agenda that they might have. They don't deserve your time.
They don't even deserve a platform, but no one can stop that.
Capitalism. But anyways, if you're looking for help, whether you're a man, woman, anything in between, whatever it is, if you feel lost, if you're looking for someone to reach out to us. We're always here. But the three of us gave you a whole list of channels. We want you guys to check them out because they have also helped us in our journey.
And then also outside of that list, look for others as well. There's plenty more pages out there that are trying to. There's plenty of pages out there that are actually trying to help, put this gender war, at least keep it from raging as much as it is now. It's more of that than it is toxic stuff out there. You just need to know where to find it.
And like we said, on this channel, you're gonna have different mindsets, different opinions, different experiences, personalities, and everything. So we're not gonna sit up here and pretend like we know best and we know your situation in particular, but we care. We care about people. We don't like what we're seeing. We're gonna speak on it. We're having these discussions to make a safe space. I know, red flags. A safe space for people to have these uncomfortable conversations that our society is agonizing right now in bitterness and hate. We need to have these conversations so we can maybe not see eye to eye, but at least come somewhere and compromise in the middle.
Well, at least we need to reach to a place where we can at least have a conversation. Right now, we're just yelling back and forth. We can't even get to like trying to see eye to eye or come to the middle until we first turn the volume down and just at least look at each other, for God's sake.
And one last thing, what the guy pointed out, if someone is just telling you that you're right, that's not your real friend.
No.
And that's not someone that actually wants to see you grow. If people, another big thing on both sides right now, what's driving our society is pride. People want to be right. And they don't want to be questioned. They don't want to be challenged. They don't want to hear another person out on both sides. Mm-hmm. And this is affecting every aspect of our society. And we need to make a difference. We need to make a change, guys. So please help us, as that's our mission on this channel, with this channel. That's what we're trying to do. So check us out next time. Please take care of yourselves, guys. Check out these channels that we have suggested. Check out our other channels, our other videos, if you haven't. Subscribe if you haven't. Like and share with anybody that you know that this could be helpful for.
And check in on people.
And God bless y'all. Stay safe out there.
See ya.
Bye.